So good morning, Swat. Good morning, Fatima. How are you doing? How's everything?
We're fine, thank you. What about you, Professor?
Oh, good. Thank you for asking. How's your research? Everything is good?
Yeah, fine.
Uh,
Professor, did you receive an email yesterday from Georgiana?
no, I'm just referring back to your dissertation. Everything is good.
Yeah, everything
Mhm.
is good.
Yeah, we will talk later about these external activities, please. So how about you, Fatima? Everything is good? I think you're unmuted. All right. So one more time, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining to our today dissertation workshops, referring to the literature review. So far, we talk about how we can adjust our topic, just make sure the topic is more relevant to our program, and we talk about some responsibilities from supervisor. We talk about your responsibility toward your dissertation. We talk about ethics, about the procedures, and so on. And today we're going to have a brief section towards the literature review. Regarding to the literature review, of course, all of you, you're having a good experience towards the literature review, but yet again, as per of dissertation workshops, we just plan for you to just have some plenary sessions towards the literature review and give you some tips how to draft a good literature review. Before I initiate the session, so now we do have our dissertation teams, which already you know us, it's me, and we do have Deborah and dear Saravia. So if you would like to ask any questions referring back to your dissertation, feel free to contact with dissertations@scientismo.com. And just for your information, we start to just keep contact with your respective supervisors towards your dissertation, how you are progressing. If there is any question, if you have any doubt, if there is any conflicts, please just feel free to approach us. You can keep contact with us with dissertations@scientismo.com. One of us is going to get back to you as soon as possible. I wish you all the best with your dissertation journey, and as I wish everything is fine so far. So since we are receiving a positive remarks from all the students, which are going to be graduates soon. Okay, for today's workshop, we are planning to talk about the understand of the purpose and basic requirement of an effective literature review. Which gonna definitely help you to just critically assess the research materials, and of course, it's gonna help you to develop the strategy for inventing, organizing, and drafting a good literature review, and to help you to cite the source appropriately. The purpose of the literature review, of course, we know having a good literature review, it's gonna give you a strong backup towards your research activity and shows how you are well equipped towards the knowledge referring to your selected topic. A general guide on how to conduct and write a literature review. Of course, we had a research methodology workshop or the sessions together, or maybe academic skills workshop. And so far, we talk about literature review, and all of you are well familiar with the literature review. But why we are just mainly focusing on it, because a literature review is a piece of, as long as we know, is a piece of academic writing, which is demonstrating about your knowledge and understanding of the academic literature on a specific topic which you are willing to conduct a research. So a literature review also just include a critical evaluation of the material. This is why it's called a literature review rather than a literature report. So it is a process of reviewing the literature as well as form of writing, which is really important. I'm highly recommending to you, please just ensure that you're avoiding from the plagiarism, you're avoiding from the AI, because of course you cannot rely on AI. And I would like to say, unfortunately, lots of students, they are just taking advantage of AI in order to just draft the literature review. And hopefully we don't have anyone among us which is just using the AI. But if we realize that you are just taking advantage of AI in order to draft the literature review, definitely you're going to be plagiarized and you're going to receive the AMC letter. So to identify the difference between the reporting and reviewing, of course, lots of times, several times, you're receiving an email, or sometimes you do have communications with your respective supervisor. They're saying this part of literature review is not good, you have to delete this information, you have to add this, and where is the theoretical framework, why the literature review is a kind of looks like the background of research and not reflecting something towards the theoretical framework. So my advice to you is always try your best to just make sure, first of all, you should know about your problem statement, about the gap between the research, who else has conducted the same research before, and what was the limitation of research, what was their finding, and how you can improve this condition. Here we go. It's the meaning of the literature review to just draft your dissertation. We are not saying literature report. We are saying literature review. So those students which they are getting the highest score from our respective supervisors are those which they are having a most relevant and updated reference list towards their research activity, and which is related to the literature review. Whatever you are putting the information, please don't forget to just put a valid reference or citations towards this. And the next is, okay, steps for writing a literature review, of course, is planning, reading, and research, analyzing, drafting, and revising. Definitely, all of us, we know what's the purpose of the literature review, right? In a large piece of the written work, such as dissertation or project, of course, the literature review is usually one of the first tasks carried out after deciding on a topic, which asking from your supervisor, where is the literature review? So reading the combined with critical analysis also can, of course, help you just refine a topic and just frame the research questions. So as long as you're reading more research articles and you are well equipped towards the methods which so far utilized towards your research activity, so you can draft a better research questions, and of course you can have a good and precise objectives also as well. So conducting the literature review, establishing your familiarity or with of course the understanding of the current research in a particular field before you start a new investigations. So after doing a literature review, you should know what research has already been done and be able to just identify what is unknown within your topic. So here we go. Some students, once they're conducting the research as part of a literature review, they are just identifying, okay, the research already has been conducted before and here are the solution. So then definitely you are not allowed to duplicate the same research. So you can see how many advantages or how many key points we can just extract right now from the literature review. Let's say, for example, if you are conducting the research towards, let's say, pediatric, for example, in let's say in Denmark. So how, for example, they're addicted to the social media, just example. So if you are just pinpointing about the pediatric, for example, the populations. So now you're just doing the research activity and you're finding the research already has been exist, let's say last year, and you're duplicating the same things with the same method and you're having the same sampling size and you're repeating the things. But sometimes your conceptual framework is a slightly bit different, and of course, it's gonna just direct your research in a different way. But again, the main point of the literature review is, first of all, you're just reviewing lots of research articles to just knowing well about what are the gap between the research and what happened before and what others people or researchers they just investigate and identified, and how you can improve this condition by the new investigations or maybe by conducting the new research activity. So for the literature review, again, we as academics, of course, we are a little bit more tricky, but unfortunately, some students, they are thinking literature review is a good place to just buy some pages or just Word account for them in order to just help them to finalize the dissertation. But my advice to you is to don't do that. So make sure you're reading the content and make sure you are finding the meaningful impact from the content which you're drafting as per literature review. Because one more time, I'm just highlighting here, you're supposed to have viva, final presentation. So whatever statement you're drafting into the dissertation, you should know about the statement comes from where and how you can find the interconnection between this content and your objective research questions and definitely your methodology. So now we are talking about planning, but before I start to talk about planning, what type of literature review am I writing? So I'm just saying, when doing and writing a literature review, it's good practice to just summarize and analyze the previous research and theories, and then you identify the area of controversy and sometimes the contested claims. And of course, you have to highlight any gaps that may exist in the research as up to date. So, regarding to the conducting the literature review or drafting a good literature review, I'm going to talk later, but now I'm just following the slides. My apologies, sometimes I'm not following the slides and I'm adding some additional information, but no worries, all the information which I'm explaining to you already exists into the slides. So for the focus, what is the specific thesis or problem or research questions that may a literature review helps to define, identifying the focus which is helping you to sort and categorize the information, eliminate the irrelevant information, of course. And of course, the type, what type of literature review am I conducting? Is it regarding to the conducting the methodology, policy, qualitative and quantitative? So the reason which I keep this information here is, so we do have lots of students. Once they're drafting the literature review, unfortunately, they have no clear clue towards the how to organize the good the literature review towards the content into the paper. So before writing, you should consider a few different ways regarding to organizing or just categorizing the literature review which you have looked. And of course, you want to consider to maybe perhaps just reading or just grouping them by methodology or themes. So now, as per methodology, we are just saying always to students. So always we do have three main method, which is the chronological, which is the thematical, and we do have the methodological way. So for the chronological way, we are saying always to the students, so organizing your sources by the date of the publication, which can show how a scholarly just perspective on a topic has changed over the time. So then definitely for your presentation also, it's really going to be helpful if you're putting the thing as per ordering the timeline. And one more thing before I forget is please just ensure that the date already is in between 2019 as of 2024. As long as you can, try to use the recent updated articles. But of course, sometimes we do have some outdated ways, but you can still keep them. But you can find some revised or just some recent research article which already they use the same way, and you can just update the reference and just refer to as a recent research activity. So for thematically, of course, you have to organize by the teams, just putting all of the source with a similar focus together, making it very easy to see where the differences is showing as per research activities. So for the methodological way, so organizing by the method, let's say, for example, some they are already using, let's say, one way on a wall, just example. So whoever has used one way on a wall, which had done the same activity as yours, so you can just keep inside one table and then just design another table, see what are the improvements, for example, comes in the next activity or for the upcoming research papers. Let's say one already say, okay, one way honorable was good, but I will not just have regression also as part of this method, so I'm going to add this. Or maybe sometimes we do have the logistics, for example, method, or sometimes we do have the independent t-test, or sometimes we are having the let's say pair t-test or one sample t-test. So we are just adjusting the things. So knowing about this method is going to help you to just have more diverse information towards this. And once you're coming for the final presentation, then you're having good and enough knowledge towards your research activity, and you know what happened in between the methods which already you illustrated for your research activity, which all the information always comes from the good research articles, which again you're referring back to the literature reviews. Okay, for the scope, of course, we are having always what is the scope of my literature review and what type of source am I using? Always you have to start to ask these questions from yourself and make sure you're able to just give a good and solid response to those kind of questions. Sorry, my apologies. Okay, for academic discipline, what field am I working in? Of course, you know about that. So for the reading and researching, what material am I going to use? So normally, we are advising to the students just use the good research papers or just the good research articles with a high ranking impact factor, and just ensure that the paper which you're selecting or the book or maybe the research you're selecting for your dissertation is valid enough to be sorted out as part of your research activity. And again, once you're drafting your literature review, please just ensure that check the content with your respective supervisor. So don't send page by page, please. Don't overwhelm your supervisor, because I'm receiving some emails from some supervisors that are saying, yes, I'm supervising my students, I'm happy with her, but she's sending to me page by page information and she's expecting from me to receive the comment. And once I'm giving the comment, she again asking, could you please check again? Guys, for your information, I'm saying you can send the first chapter, I don't know, maybe the first 5 page or 10 page at any stage, just send to your supervisor. Once you're receiving the comments and you are polishing the content, you cannot again send the same draft to the supervisor and say, could you please check, is it correct or not correct? So, because the comment already given to you, and maybe you want to consider 10% of comments, maybe you want to consider 20% of comment, and supervisor, they cannot go line by line again and realize that already you consider perhaps 50% of comments and you already polish the content and the rest is same, and again they have to draft the same things to you. So you have just only one chance, which already also we inform the same things to the supervisors. They know about the protocols, they know about the policy. Once you had drafted each chapter, you can send to your supervisor. But let's say if I'm drafting my research questions, I have question. I don't know, is it correct or is not correct? So you can keep contact with your supervisor. You can set a meeting with her or him and talk about it, and you can ask question. And maybe you have issue with your conceptual framework and you don't know is it correct or is not correct, so you can send email, you can communicate with them. But towards drafting the research, please just ensure that once you're communicating with your respective supervisor, so you're well aligned with the protocols and you should know about the research methodology in advance. And of course, supervisor is just expecting to see a good report and they are there to just give you a good support. And the second point is, I was just saying at beginning of the session, we are starting to just receive the students' logbook from all the supervisors. So hopefully, as of now, already you met your supervisor at least once, and we are just collecting the reports. We want to see what you have done, you are on at which stage, and how many times you keep contact with your supervisor. So what's going on towards your research activities and so on. Please just ensure that once you're communicating with your supervisor, so if he or she is asking you to do something and complete it, let's say in between 2 weeks or maybe, I don't know, at 10 days or 5 days, make sure to just revert back at the time which already your supervisor is asking for. But if sometimes you're looking for extension, you can keep contact with your supervisor, just inform. For example, I need 2 more days, I need 5 more days, but don't surprise in them or don't give them shock. And after 1 month, you just come here, say, "Tada, my research is ready," and he or she doesn't know what you have done so far. So please just ensure about these points, which are they mentioned here. So now I'm backing to the slides. So for reading and researching, so of course, you should know about the name of the author, about the purpose of the author, about the methodology, how they drafted the research, about the methods, and you have to simplify the information. The main reason I put this information here is because Once you are going for the Viva for the final presentation, as I already put some information to your dissertation handbook, I clearly mentioned what are my expectations for the slides. So please just ensure that you are putting the author name, or sometimes of course, you can create a table, my advice is just put the author name, and then put the title of the paper, and then about what was the methodology, and talk about the outcome. So you can create everything inside the table. Try your best, just have two slides towards the literature review. So somehow we don't have a time, we can say, okay, one slide is good, but as long as we found the students already well prepared towards the literature review, and already you went through the lots of articles, it's going to be really useful for the examiners, and of course for your respective supervisor, to just understand how well you drafted the literature review, and how well you know about the content of your research, which so far is everything reverting back to the articles or the books or the research which already you found it before. Okay, now about analyzing. Of course, regarding to the literature review, is not just list of studies always offer an argument about the body of the research. What does mean? That means you have to discuss about the methodology, what was the method they used so far. And my advice to you is always try to make sure your literature review is interlinked with your problem statement, because all is related to the gap between the research, and all is related to your research questions and objective. All should be interlinked together. Literature review is not literature report. Okay, literature review. That means you're just highlighting the gap between the research, what other people they have done in the past towards your research, and what was their founding, and how was their methodology, and so on. So for methodology, for sorry, literature review, again, you have to take care of the word account. Don't put lots of information into the literature review, because just yesterday I was just grading one the dissertation, and I confront with introduction was 3 page, literature review was roughly around 20 page, methodology 1 page, result 2 page. Of course, it was not consistent. Please just ensure that you're paying attention to the consistency towards the content which so far you're willing to distribute in between your dissertation. For the literature review, of course, we are saying always you have to summarize, synthesize, criticize, and compare the results. And some students, they will not just have discussion right after literature review, and just say, here are the outcome of the, for example, whatever article I went through towards my research activity. And some students, they just prefer to just end it with the content. So both is accepted. All this depends to your respective supervisor. So even though if you want to have just a couple of pages, just talk about the reviews, and about whoever has found the same things as per your topic, or they have the same method as per your topic, and you want to highlight the gap between the research, what was the missing information or the missing method. So you can do that, even though you can put at end of your literature review maybe 1 page conclusion, just talk about what are the overall funding towards the research which you found towards your literature review. Both is accepted, but again, you have to check this with your respective supervisor also as well. So now, regarding to the summary and synthesize the information. So, of course, conducting the literature review, focusing on different aspects of your literature review can be really useful to help the plan, develop, refine, and write it. So you can also use and adopt the prompt questions in your, for example, a draft, for example, in a different point in the process of just researching and writing your review. So these are just such a kind of suggestion to get you just thinking and writing about your research. So writing a literature review, of course, has a lot in common with other assignment tasks. As long as we know about this is just advice on, or for example, about how are you willing to think and critically draft the good strategy and academic writing towards your dissertation. So that one is really important. And of course, again, for the guidance on the literature review searching from the research articles, I do have one PDF file which I'm going to just send to dissertation teams, and we're going to upload the information into the Canvas, and hopefully you can find it as a useful document. But if in case if you have any questions, you are looking forward to just have some additional, I don't know, some further elaboration towards the literature review, so feel free to contact. So we are more than happy to help. So normally I'm saying to my students, which I'm supervising, I'm saying we are having 5 to 6 main character towards a good literature review. So first is focusing, which is related to review the concerns of the material that is the central interest related to your topic. So the second is the goals, which is implying about and helping you about to review the all the recent research article, which is the most obvious goal for the review is to just integrate or just synthesize the past literature review that is believed to just relate to the same issue. So the next, which always I'm saying, is just the coverage. So of course the coverage is probably the most I would like to say aspect of the literature review drafting, which is you have to cover all the aspects towards your problem statement, gap between the research questions, and objective. So, and you have to ensure that about who is the audience of your research. Okay, so that one also is really important because the audience distinctions probably just manifest the most clearly through the writing style of the reviewer, which is you as a student. You're drafting these things, so make sure you're following the academic skills writing, and make sure you are well familiar with how to draft a good literature review, how to start if you are having 2 or 3 authors, how can we start draft a good literature review. So here I had just provided for you some couple of examples towards this. So the sample language for the summary and synthesizing is, for example, Alex has demonstrated, okay, and then early work by, let's say, Hosman or Schwartz and so on was just concerned with. So, for example, El Said and Stern just compared algorithms for handling or whatever you want to continue. Additional work by, for example, Karasawa et al. And so on deals with. So here are the kind of the sentence and statement which we are having as part of our academic skills workshops, which we are recommending to students to just take advantage of this. But again, is not the journey is not ended here. Okay, you have to put the date, the proper citations, maybe sorry, inside the bracket once you're completing the statement. Um, so the here we're having some example of the summary towards the literature review, for example, under the restrictions of small populations for possible ways to avoid the premature convergence, for example, were presented. The first one is to just revise the for example, operators, and Griffiths and Miles applied advanced two-dimensional and whatever you want to add. So here we go, how you are having more information, one coming after another one, and you are just recapping the information. You're saying here was the missing information, and the next person came up and add this information. So for the literature review, as long as we are saying you shouldn't use the AI platform, so but recommending to you for your references, you can use maybe a note, or maybe you can use Mendeley applications or tools, which is so good, and it's going to help you to just keep tracking the records of your literature review, and it's helping you to just organize the citations in a better way. But again, it's up to you. If you want to use any other softwares, also is okay, but you are not allowed to use AI. Okay, so so here I already put for you some additional information. Maybe later on, you can just find more additional information. Looks like the context, which I already provide as per my slides, and you can just use once you're drafting your final dissertations also as well. So regarding to the critical analysis, I would like to just add something here regarding to this point. Normally, critical analysis, it goes beyond merely just summarizing the existing literature by just offering the insightful analysis or maybe evaluation and synthesizing of the material. So a good literature review critically normally examines the strength, weakness, and gaps in the existing research. Don't forget this. Those are the three main keywords which I would like to say always it's going to help you to just draft a good literature review. So now, regarding to the clear, of course, yeah, organization for drafting the good literature review, a structure and logically organized literature review guides, of course, you the regarding to your topic, presenting the information in a coherent manner, which is typically follows a thematic or maybe chronological development, which either we talk about it or maybe theoretical framework depending on the nature of the research. So not all the research paper they need to have theoretical framework. Okay, we know about we do have sometimes systematic research, we do have chronological, we do have methodological, we do have thematic research. So we do have different types of research. So you should always say, okay, here is the way which I have to draft the literature review. So whatever my research type is, I'm going to follow the same way and same steps. No, it's totally different things. So for example, for data science, for computer science students, and for engineering program, for project management program, for quantitative, for qualitative, for thematic research, for systematic research, for each of them, we do have different requirements in order to draft a good literature review. So if you don't know about that, please make sure just review the slide, review the content which I'm going to upload to your student's profile today. And once you're drafting your literature, or before even though start to draft your literature review, ask for a call with your respective supervisor and just share the information with him or her. Just ask advice and then draft your research, or just draft and send and ask for advice. Doesn't matter, but just make sure your respective supervisor is checking the accuracy of the content and just ensure that you're on the right track, please. And of course, regarding to the drafting, which is the main part of aspect of your literature review, you have to ensure that, as I mentioned before, just avoid from the plagiarism, please, 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 because you are on the final stage and we don't want to see the AMC cases from my postgrad and of course undergrad students from this batch. So if you have any doubt, if you have questions towards that, so just feel free to contact, feel free to approach us, and we are more than happy to help you. So, drafting the literature review to help you approach your draft in a manageable fashion. This section addressed the following topics: the thesis statement, organization, introduction, conclusion, and citations. So, for the thesis statement offers an argument about the literature. It may do any of or combination of the following, which you can see here. Sometimes, as I mentioned, depends your topic. It depends to the method as you're choosing for your research. The way we are drafting the literature review is a slightly bit, of course, is different. But again, what if someone is asking about what are the challenges in the writing a literature review? I'm gonna say navigating. Of course, the amount of literature review it's gonna be challenging. Maintaining the focus is really challenging. Balancing the depth and, of course, being confident about the content is challenging. Synthesizing the diverse perspective also is challenging. Time consuming nature also is challenging. We know about this. If you are confronting with any point, so it's definitely it's normal things. But believe me, as long as you're spending more time towards your literature review, so you can be more strong enough towards the content as you're drafting for us. So sometimes maybe you're drafting the literature review and you're confronting with a new idea and you want to just adjust a little bit, maybe your research questions or research or problem statement. So I'm saying that's absolutely fine, but make sure you're checking the content with your respective supervisor again, but don't make it too much intricate. Okay, just make it simple as long as you can. For example, some students, I remember just last week I had a meeting with a couple of students. So they mentioned they would like to talk about the failure of the government to recognize about interdependencies, and they want to talk about the gratifications of the people or some autonomy of the companies, which they are not looking forward to just receive the advice from the government. And the things is they are feeling lost in between lots of articles and they don't know what they have to do. So my advice to you is always, rather than talk and talk, just draft, just try to just jot it down with your hand and try to just summarize the information first with your handwriting, and then try to talk to your supervisor and do the research again, talk again, research again, and believe me, you can reach to the good point. But once you reach to the literature review, here we go. Once we are why we are reading the literature review, because we don't know about the gap of between the research, because we don't know about the thousands of methodology which already exist. For that's why we are went through the research articles and we want to know what's happening. So once I'm reading, I can admit to my mistakes towards what I have drafted for chapter one. I can admit to my mistakes towards my conceptual framework. I can admit to my the mistakes towards whether I had just presumed about my methodology and now is the right time to just do the corrections. So why not? You can just talk to your supervisor, just polish the content, and then adjust the content as well. But if you are in some cases, you have planned to, I don't know, hopefully we don't have anyone here, but if you want to change your topic in the last minute and as per you're just reviewing the literature review and you're finding, okay, the topic already exists, so I would like to just adjust the topic. If you're adjusting the topic based as per any reason, please make sure you are informing to dissertations team, and because we have to update the content into the student's profile. And of course, once you're graduating, you should have the topic which already submitted to us and the dissertation which already is submitted, and you are going to be graduate. Everything should be tally and should be the same. So if there's any changes, we really appreciate that if you just let us know in advance. Okay, so for citing the source, things to avoid. So of course, Arja talk about the plagiarism, about irrelevant quotations, on introduced quotations is really important. So sometimes we do have some content which are having the falsify information. Sometimes we do have some content which the references not exist. Sometimes we do have the citations which already exist in between the context, but the full citations is not exist right after the chapter 5, which is as per of reference list. So I'm just saying we are checking one by one, okay? Just make sure whatever reference you are highlighting into the research already, you are providing the full reference list right after your chapter 5, which is your conclusion. And again, if you have issue with referencing or I don't know citations and so on, so please make sure just check the academic skills documents which already exist inside your student's profile, and you can review the content. But again, if you think you need some help, then feel free to contact. More than happy to support you. So, now regarding to the revising. So, of course, we do have the title, introduction, thesis as my review, have a clear claim. So, about the body of your research, the topic, sentence, about the transitions, about the conclusion, spelling and grammar. So, really all of them are such an important component towards your research activity, and I'm highly recommending to you to double check everything. And just for your information, students, they are not allowed to use Grammarly, okay, or any, I don't know, other tools which you are using to paraphrase, proofread, or whatever, which is towards your dissertation. So the all reason from university side is we are just assuming that if you reach to this level, that means of course your writing is so good, your English is so good, and you are able to just submit a good draft of the dissertation. So the reason I'm highlighting this is because we had a couple of cases towards the AMC internet in just last intake, and some students mentioned just claim that we used Grammarly and so on. So and then we got advice, just inform to everyone you're not allowed to use Grammarly or different tools, so you have to ensure that you are fully responsible towards the draft and content which you're submitting to us. This fully responsible means about the content, about the AI, about, I don't know, Turnitin, plagiarism or whatever issue arise, you should be responsible, even though um, about analyzing the data. You should know about how you analyze the data. Why did you choose this method? And for example, if you're saying I'm using PLS, partial least square, just an example. So you have to just give us one line justification. Why did you choose this method? This is a common sense question. Let's say, for example, we are so proud to say you're students at Gizmo. So we're saying why you're at Gizmo. So you have your justifications, right? You're going to say, I compared this university with a couple of universities in the past or in different universities. I found this university so good in terms of education, academics, supports, and so on. So I prefer to pick Gizmo. So always for any action which we do, in our entire life, definitely we do have some solid reason. So make sure you are having the reason, but for dissertation, you should have reference for your reason. Okay, if you're having some justifications towards the gap between the research or if you're highlighting something, so just be ready always to have some additional information. As I mentioned before, always right after conclusion or maybe discussion, I'm talking about your YY slides, you can have some additional slides. If you're the person you want to just remember the points, so you can put some keynotes in some additional slides right after thank you, the end, then looks like just recapping the knowledge or information if the examiners or your supervisor asking some questions about some formula or some algorithm. So you can just refer back to the slides and just continue and add some additional explanation. So as you read, try to see the big picture. Your literature review should provide an overview of the state of the research, which already we talked about it, and the balanced summary and analysis as you write. Of course, it's really important. We mentioned you have to be consistent towards the content as you're drafting for us, and of course, everything should be interlink to the first chapter. Interlink means we don't want to see, for example, let's say your objective research questions is talking about the sustainable development goals, and then your literature review is talking about the background of sustainability. So that one is purely is not accepted. So everything should be interlinked together. So you have to identify the recent researcher, what they have found towards sustainable development goals. Let's say you're founding SDG 9 or maybe 16, you are considering for that. And you want to work something towards innovation, just example. And you have to find what exists towards innovation as of now. So what other people they have done towards innovation. Let's say you want to work something related to innovations towards higher education system, just an example, or maybe human resource, or you want to do something looks like that. So you have to precise the information which is interlinked to your main major and make sure you are precising the information. Please just ensure that again, we are calling literature review, not literature report. So the next is yeah, we don't have an X, so thank you for joining. So now the stage is yours. If there's any question, just feel free to let me know. Yes.
Professor, I'm asking about the ethics form.
Yes.
I think that we have sent me and Professor Deepak the ethics form, but I still didn't have any reply.
Send it to who?
I sent it to Professor Deepak, and he told me that he's going to forward it to you and he's going to ask you about it.
No, I haven't received. Saravia is here. Saravia, have you received any ethics form from Deepak?
Yes, I did. Yes, of course. I'm going to forward it to the ethics committee and we will get back to you.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good.
Hello,
Anything
Professor.
else? Hello.
Professor, I have also same question regarding ethics form actually.
Yes, please.
Actually, I have sent my ethics form 2nd of May through Professor. So Professor also reply me. He already sent to
Oh, who
maybe
is your
exam board.
professor? What's the name of your
Uh,
supervisor?
Apostolus.
Apostolos. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Saravia, have you received the ethics from Apostolos?
I'm not sure. I can find it and get
So
back to.
I contacted dissertation team, registry team, and also maybe also I also sent to you, Sarah.
No, I haven't received. If I received, I always get back to you.
And last week I communicate with my professor and I asked him. See, already 20 days almost completed
It's
till.
impossible because normally for the ethics, we get back to students maximum in between 3 working days, not more than this. So, so please don't wait for 20 days if such a thing happens. So, if you are coming to university, then just get back to me as soon as possible. Or if you're communicating with me, please communicate with gizmo.com account, not gizmo_education.com. Okay?
I really don't know actually because professor professor send it for the approval, right?
But I haven't received the form because the form goes to dissertation teams, and now Saravia is checking if you have received such an email or not. So then I can get back to you. Saravia, have you received the emails from Apostolic?
Yes, I did. I did. I don't know why it was not sent to the ethics committee. I'm sending it to
When?
you right now.
When?
So on second, sorry, it was delay from our end. I don't know. It was lost somewhere.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, I'm so sorry about it because I usually put it in another folder. But it's okay. We are going to getting it and we will confirm it and we will send back to you today. Will that work, Mohit?
Okay, sir. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Sorry about that,
Sorry,
Mohit.
really sorry about that.
Thanks for raising this issue. Okay, for that side, I'm setting the coffee drop-in station monthly, so then it's an open platform for everyone to just pop in and talk because we as a dissertation teams also now we do have also undergrad. I know it's not an excuse, but we're receiving daily thousands emails from students. So if somehow, and also we had the public holidays in between, so if something is missing, we apologize for that, and then definitely today we're gonna get it done. Okay, any question, guys?
You have from Fatima?
Hi.
Yes. Hi.
Okay. Hi, Professor. Hi, Saravia. Many thanks for this dissertation workshop. That's so many helpful. And I just have a question to be sure about that. I'm 1.5 year student and I have 90 ECTS. I want to work individually and I want to be sure that do I need to write 16,000 words length for my dissertation?
Mm-hmm. Is it
Yeah.
me or Saravia? Me or
Professor
me?
Sora.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your credit is 19.
Yes, it's 90 and 1.5 duration.
Okay, for 90, normally, yes, we are saying 60,000 words. But for 16 credits, we do have 12,000 words.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank you.
most welcome. Yes, Mohi?
Yes.
It's
Yes, Professor.
okay.
I'm also talking about regarding word counts. Actually, I got one email from dissertation team that from a hand module book.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some four clause actually. Like for the individual, there is a section there written. I need to write my dissertation for 12,000 word, and A, B, C, D. Maybe in the option of C also said there for individual person 16,000. So I'm little bit confused about this.
No, no, no. See, if you're having the 60 credit,
Yeah.
okay, so you're supposed to have 12,000 words.
Okay.
Okay, if you are doing individually. If you are doing, for example, with your friend, then it's 60,000 words. So
uh,
if your credit is 90 to 120 programs, so which you are not, so then if you are doing individually, you have to do 60,000 words for us.
No, no, I have 60 credit and I'm doing
So
individual
10 is 12,000. Yours is
12,000.
12.
So
Yes.
is it including appendix, references, and all?
No, it's excluding the appendix, reference list, table of content, so the first page, and you're always allowed to have 10 percentage, plus 10 percentage up or less, but not more than this.
Okay, Professor, thank you very much.
You are most welcome. Okay, good. So, anything else, guys? Any question? No? So, if there's no more question, thank you so much for your participation. Please, if you keep contacting with your friends, if anyone has issue with ethics or I don't know, because you guys, you're